Hello, traders, and welcome to the daily levels and some pre-market commentary for Tuesday, June 11, 2024. It's almost 8:15 a.m. Eastern. What you see in front of you are the levels that have been identified that will be important today, most likely. If the spiders hit these levels, they will produce trades in the E-mini futures. So today is Tuesday, the day before the FOMC announcement, and it's likely to be kind of slow. However, it depends on what the volume is like. Yesterday, the volume was low and they kind of just pushed higher slowly all day long. As of right now in the morning, they've been bouncing around some important areas. They've got to fight. Well, first of all, 533.07, which is right in this zone below here, is the high of that breakdown candle from a week or so ago. Pretty important. They've got to stay above that to remain bullish. So they're going to fight that at some point between today and tomorrow, most likely. The other levels are important, and as a matter of fact, in the pre-market, the spiders have been bouncing around quite a bit. They've gone higher from where they closed yesterday, and they've gone a lot lower. They've spiked around as of right now. It's not even 8:30 yet, and there are no data announcements scheduled until tomorrow morning at 8:30. I believe it's a CPI announcement. I'll double check that. Yep, CPI, and then of course the FOMC announcement at 2 o'clock. So just be careful. If the volume is low today, then they could go sideways. But since there's been a little bit of activity in the pre-market overnight, there's going to be some levels that are important today, and they really have to stay above some important areas to remain bullish. And that's the goal, of course, of the bulls. And if they get too far below and start closing daily candles below 533.07 in particular, then that's a sign that the bears might want to push price down. But we'll discuss that if and when it happens. These are the levels that we'll use today intraday for trades in the E-minis. After the market closes, we're going to come back to this chart, take a look at all the trades that were taken in the E-minis, assuming the spiders hit these levels, and analyze them at that point. Back to this chart after the closing bell. Well, I can't believe it's so late, 1 a.m., but I'm going to go ahead and get this video out. I had a lot of things take up my time after work today, after an event. So, all-time highs. Spiders closed and pushed above the former all-time high from last week and closed pennies above it. Don't think that's a coincidence. By the way, this little spike here did not happen in real time. Didn't translate into the E-minis at least. So early on, they came down to this zone, scaled in. It was 4 contracts long at this point. Waited it out. A lot of signs that this was going to be the bottom. They were going to defend this area. I said that this morning that in the middle of here was the place that the bulls need to defend to keep price above and strong, and they did. So anyway, I trailed this here, got into this trade, but if they just barely came in and gave the base hit. So when they came back up to entry point within a few minutes, I jumped out just to be on the safe side. I didn't like it and thought they were going to continue higher. They did end up coming back and would have given the trade later, as you can tell, but I was out of this, essentially a wash. And here it was a classic near miss, because once again, just think about where these levels are. This would have been 535.63, so forth. I'll get these adjusted later. I'll go ahead and do it right now. I'm not going to adjust this zone because I don't. And what's this level here? I went short right here, thereabouts, and got a few points out here when they looked like they weren't going to come up and get this level in time, and it was approaching 330. So let's just watch the recordings and we'll talk through it then. So right before 9:45, they're coming down into this zone. I had limit orders on the chart to buy within this zone, and it happens pretty fast. I'll just let this play because once they got into it, they fell pretty hard and pretty fast, and that's kind of the fake out. And it was worth holding on to this and not to get eked out or anything, because this is where the bulls were going to defend this area, as we discussed this morning. And so once they did get a good footing, they pulled out of this area and continued higher, as you already know. But I held on to this trade, so I'm long 4, and instead of taking 4 off at the base hit, I took 3 off at roughly 4 points and trailed 1. So I was able to squeeze a few more points out. They went up to my target. So basically the idea is I was going to get out before this level, because I don't know if they're going to necessarily react to this level, but I feel pretty good about getting out before. But I still went short at this level, and it worked okay. Anyway, here's the trailer coming up. So now I'm short 2, and this is the one that came down really close to the profit target and went back up to the entry point pretty soon after this strong move out of this, early fake out. I felt like they probably wanted to go higher, so I jumped out essentially at a wash. You just see that it disappears. So that was literally was at the flat line, and they did go higher, but as you already know, they came down, and this trade would have worked. But really, by the rules, when that kind of thing happens, I'd rather play it safe than sorry because they may have the energy to continue out of that. Anyway, so back up to the next level, 535.63. That was kind of a classic near miss. You'll see when I get up there. Let me just move ahead here. There we go. Got up, pulled away really fast, and I just near miss. All right, so they continued higher past this level. Glad I didn't take the trade. And here, they tried to get up to this level a couple times, and I saw something develop. I believe it was a 30-minute chart. Gave me a signal that there could be a bigger pullback. So I let them kind of get back up and I went short, just at the market with one contract to see what kind of pullback I can get. And, have my sights on a little bit more than base hit here, as you can see. It got pretty close. I'll scrub ahead and show you. It was getting close to 330 at this point as well. So, yeah, they got down there, but then I just jumped out on their way back up, made, I don't know, a handful of ticks or so, maybe 2 points. Whatever that was, and that was it. No more trades. Just showing all these levels as kind of a dotted line here to show that they've been satisfied and hit at least, traded, and managed accordingly. Pretty interesting how these levels worked throughout the day. They came back down. I mean, this was a really nice bounce toward the end of the day, but it's after 3:30, and I don't like to take trades after 3:30, especially when they were flirting with all-time highs, and just wasn't sure what they were going to do, honestly, at that point. So on the log, playing by the rules, averaged in at the lower two levels in that zone, kind of base hit on that combined position. And as you know, it was a wash at the other level and a no trade at the second one. So 4 points. I got a little bit more because I trailed one. So really the net of that 4 contract position, after taking 3 off and then trailing the 1, was $1,300, slightly over $1,300 before commission. And a pretty good day. Tomorrow is going to be very interesting. Where they open tomorrow, we will analyze that in the morning. I'll make a pre-video, kind of give my thoughts on what might happen, but I will not be trading as it approaches 2 p.m. for sure. And even so, what happens after 8:30 a.m. CPI announcement data release, they're probably going to set the tone for the day, and that will all be kind of covered and talked about in real time in the morning video. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching, and we'll do this again tomorrow.